We're gonna go whoop 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 doo doo. Mental Health Monday coming at you.
Hey, coming at you live.
Coming at you live on Monday, the last Monday of January, January 31st, 2022. If you keep writing 21, you're a fool. We've had a month. We've had a month. Get it together, guys. Get it together. Nah,
Get it right.
get it together. Get it.
Just like your mind, which is what we're here to do today, Mental Health Monday, getting that mind right like we do. What are we talking about today, Shep?
The Stigma Enigma, right?
Yes, the enigma of stigmas that surround mental health, because there are a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
You
I
know,
smile right now because when we were talking about it earlier, I was like, I always get reminded of stigmatas whenever I think of the word stigma. And for those that don't know, that's the Jesus marks appearing on your hands and your feet and your side. Um,
technically speaking, when I looked up the definition of a stigma, uh, it did have two meanings. Stigma is a mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance, quality, or person. And then there's the Christian tradition, which means the marks left on Jesus's body.
yeah, we're not
We're
getting
not
into
we're not
those.
talking about that one today.
And we're by no means professionals either. So,
No.
I mean, we're going to kind of give our opinions on it because
hmm
there's tons of stigmas out there,
Yeah.
left and right. There's probably a lot that we don't face, and there's a lot that we face that other people probably don't even face a day in their life. So
hmm
that's the fucky thing about stigmas.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I mean, I've found recently with stigmas, like a lot of the things that get stigmatized are things that are there to help. Like I believe we talked recently on the show about therapy being a thing that was a stigma for a while. People just being like, oh, you have a therapist, like, that's kind of whack. People feeling a certain type of way about it. But as we've seen, that's kind of changed over the years. I think it's far more accepted now to be seeing a therapist, getting that help and everything. But there's still a lot of help. This goes out of the bounds of mental health a little bit, but there's things like, if you got to like apply for disability or something like that, that has a stigma, like, but it's there to help people. Yeah, that's not to say there aren't people who abuse systems like that, but these things that are designed to help people have stigmas around them, and it almost scares people out of getting the help that they need.
Yeah, no, a lot of what a stigma is like, they become is more society based.
hmm
It's the society going there and judging you and saying this is right, but this is wrong. So I mean, it's just really one of those things. Like to me, the stigmas have always played more so in my mind and on me than
hmm
in the reality. Like you can still lead the life you want to live through them. Because mine always came through, like music when I was younger. I wanted to do music. And then, there is a stigma there. If
hmm
that, oh, you don't want to work, you just want to go have fun, you just want to do this and that. And it's like, no, like this is a lot of work and
Oh yeah.
being creative, staying creative, doing your thing. It's taxing and
hmm
it's a lot. So that was always just one of those things though to me that it was like those were just those people, like because if I was around nothing but other musicians, there would be no stigma. If I was like, yo, I want to do
Right.
music, they'd be like, hell yeah, let's do it, let's go do music, let's do what we want to do. So I don't know, man.
No, I
It's
agree.
they're a bitch.
Stigmas are a bitch.
I know
And
about
that was Mental Health Monday. We'll see you guys next week. No,
that's all
let me
we got
just
to
wrap
say
that
about
up.
that. That's all we got to say about that. No, they are, man, because it's just weird. The the things that are to me that are still a stigma, like even right now,
Right.
like guys sitting around and having emotions in
hmm
2022 there's still a huge stigma to that. There's
Right.
still a lot of people that don't think that that should be a thing, that shows a bunch of weakness, that implies that you're not as manly as other dudes or anything like that,
hmm
when where in my opinion it would show you are a very strong person.
Yeah.
You're very in touch with yourself. You've done the work and can feel things and express how you feel, even positively. Because I think, on the flip, you'd just be expressing everything with anger
Hmm.
and outbursts. But it's wild, dude. It's just wild that, like, it still has to be a battle, and a lot of people don't realize it. And that's the thing too, like the stuff that we do stigmatize, like I feel like a lot of people don't really realize that they're even doing it when they're doing it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of our world and the society and the way we're set up these days, like, it does glamorize a lot of this, in my opinion, more of a negative type of energy,
Hmm.
and tells people that this is good, it's accepted, it's how you should act, it's
Right.
it's fine. There's plenty of people when, in reality, not everybody's on the internet.
Hmm.
Not everybody
Right.
uses the internet, not everybody reads a meme or agrees, or we're literally right now just sharing screenshots of one
Yeah.
another and preaching it as facts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like for me, like being such a big person with comedy and everything, like, humor has always been such a big thing in my life, and jokes and everything. But something that I have started thinking about over the past few years is how detrimental humor can be sometimes to like bettering your life, I guess. Because like, we've all heard jokes that like we've laughed at, that's like, making fun of, like, say you're watching some movie, there's some like hippy dippy character who's, who lives their life in a free way, and like, oh, they're vegan, they're this, they're that, and but they, all those jokes are made at the expense of a person like that, right? But in real life, when people are promoting like peace and zen and meditation and all this other stuff, even though it is joked about, you know, a lot of it is very helpful, and again, it's like we're stigmatizing these helpful things almost by accident. It's like we're just cracking jokes right now, but then people are like, oh, well, I'm going to get made fun of if I try to
Right.
be this way, if I try to live my life, like I'm going to get made fun of, like, and feeling like you just got to, like, I don't know, conform, I guess. Like I know trying to like attempt a vegan diet. I know Phil and I tried to do it like a few years back, and we went and did some work for my grandma, and we had like said something about it, and she was just beside herself. She was just like, "What?" Just like, "Why would you do that?" It's like, well, we're supposed to be healthier. It's just like it's just something we want to do. It's just something that we'd like to try at the very least. But it's something that's like, oh, well, there's like a weird stigma around things that, like you said, sometimes it's a stigma for some people and not for others. And I think part of this, Phil and I were having a conversation the other day of just being able to, something that both of us, wish that we were better about, is just being more sure of ourselves, and just like being able to stand 10 toes down on who we are, and just and how we feel and all that stuff. And I know specifically for me, I'm that way, where it's like I always feel the need to explain myself to people, and I don't need to do that. um and so, like, feeling stigmatized in so many ways, like you said earlier, it's like a society thing that kind of gets to you psychologically. And that's definitely been the case for me. Like I get afraid to do things, to live my life, to try new things. Like, I'm growing out my hair right now. It's like, and I like to have long hair and be able to put it up and everything. Like, it just, like, it makes me feel good. But people, I know the last time my hair got long and I put it up in like a little bun, like all the time, like, oh, man bun, this, that, the other, like people just like making fun of shit, and that will stick with you. And then next thing you know, you're never doing it again. Like, I'm shaving my head all the time. I'm never growing my hair out again because, like, people had so much shit to talk. I think that's a big problem in, like, especially like in your earlier years, like in school and
Yeah.
stuff,
Oh yeah.
where kids are like making fun of people for their styles and stuff like that. And as soon as you get made fun of for something, well, now you're going to stop doing it, whether that's you or not, like whether that's something you want to do. Now you're
It's
going to
your
stop doing
first it's your first test at expressing yourself,
it. Hmm.
basically. You're trying to present an avatar to the world. And that's your first little dose at doing it when you're young.
Yeah.
I went right off the rails, brother. Let me tell you.
I'm still coming into myself. I feel like I know there, like, things in my life, like especially with doing the comedy and stuff, and gearing up to do more film stuff this year. I've been challenging myself to get weirder, like and to be more open to getting weird, having fun with it. And because I mean, we're not gonna, I don't know. That's where the best content is going to come from, is if we just feel free in the role. Like as an actor, you want to be able to just play, and especially when we're doing comedy. And even times like that, I get afraid to even pitch a joke because it sounds too weird, and it's just like, I mean, we should just go for it, you know? But of course, it's one of those things where you can hear nine, people give you positive feedback on it, and then that one person who's like, "That's the weirdest fucking shit I've ever heard of," and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
needs to stop right now. And
I
then
mean, you
that's
got to
all.
take
That's
that in the
all
role.
that's going to sink in, and that could derail some people. Is that kind of stuff?
It could. You got to take those kind of things. Those are the little criticism knocks. You got to take them in the role. Like
Hmm.
in my opinion, like
Yeah.
you can't harness because not everything's gonna work.
No.
Especially in comedy filmmaking type thing. Not everything's
Mhm.
gonna work. But if you don't try it, you never know.
Mhm.
Uh, and I agree with that 100%. And I know something you were saying earlier about not feeling that need to express yourself. Like I've always the way I've went about that was like it just depends. There's certain levels everybody gets in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it really depends on who it is. If it's somebody that I want around in life and is a big part of the day to days or anything like that, yeah, I'll go out of my way to explain myself to that person and be like, no, no,
Mhm.
no, it's not like that, or you took that the wrong way, or anything like that. But when they're in the outer orbit of things,
Mhm.
yeah, that's when you do definitely. It's just like nah, it's like this, and this is how it is. I don't really need to explain any more in
Mhm.
detail.
Yeah.
I've always felt like that was a good way to find.
Yeah. It's definitely something I'm still working on. Just having the confidence to stand on, like, no, this is who I am. This is what, if I want to dye my hair pink tomorrow and rock that for a while, it's because I want to, like I don't need to explain that to anybody. But I'm a dude, and it's pink hair, and it's there's a stigma there. People are gonna be like, "What's up with that? What are you doing here? What's
There is, and as
you
you can, I
stick out
mean,
like a sore thumb?
everybody knows
Conform."
that watches this. I've got the hair; it's long,
Hmm.
and I dye it too. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of a stigma around that and around just me because I've always just like that person you talk about being, like I said, I've
Mhm.
always just done it, like because I
Yeah.
just what's the fucking point? Why do I like I had these thoughts at a very young age of being like, why should I give a shit?
Hmm.
As long as I'm fucking happy and I'm rolling and I'm doing what I want to do, who cares? And
Yeah.
like, the crew I've had, they've always were fine with that to where,
Mhm.
nowadays I've got, red hair again. I dyed it yesterday back red and or Saturday at some point.
Mhm.
And it's gonna fade. It's gonna go back pink. I
Yeah.
don't give a shit. But like, yeah, I'm gonna get those questions all the time. People ask me all the time, and it's fun to hit them with that. Like, yo, my guy, just because my hair's long as fuck, and it's
Mhm.
flowing, it looks nice, and it's dyed, does not have anything. Like, this has nothing to do with sexuality.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like, let's just stop. Like, I'm smart.
Yeah.
I get it. But
It's yeah. People just put, they go from like A to B, I guess. And it's like I can see where they make the connection, but it has nothing to do. One has nothing to do with the other. Yeah, like being able to express yourself in certain ways. Like even if I wanted to, like again, like you said, it has nothing to do with sexuality. But there's that stigma of if you express yourself in these ways, well, now it does somehow, some way have something to do with your sexuality. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does, and that is the choice of expression. But both it's one of those things that like I remember when I was younger, I was in like grade school, and a friend of mine, his older brother who was in high school at the time, it was him and his friend were there, and he was telling me about this friend of his brother's and how he changes his hair like almost every week. This guy, and I saw his hair, and it was crazy. And I was a young kid at the time. I was like, "Damn, that's cool that he just does that." And I still to this day think about that. I think about that guy. I never knew that guy. I literally that was how we met in passing, just like that when I was a kid. And I still think about that guy was just brave enough to do that kind of stuff. Man, I think that's dope. I know that song I sent to you the other day, uh, that artist, I just kind of fell down a rabbit hole with her. And like, yes, she's cute and everything, but like what really like I feel like has made me gravitate towards her. Like I started looking at her website and everything, and it's just this vibe that she gives off of just like completely owning who she is. And like I can feel that energy coming off of her work, and it's amazing to me. And I always am in awe of people like that, because it's something that I wish I was. I'm a much more quiet, reserved kind of person where like a lot of that expression comes out of me creatively, I guess, in my writing and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I think about those kinds of things all the time of like doing my hair some crazy way or dressing some sort of crazy way. But then I get scared. Like I am definitely somebody who gets frightened by these kinds of things because of stigmas that have been
Oh,
put in
because
place.
but see, the stigmas are already there, and
Hmm.
they're always going to be there because even in this conversation, like when we're talking, I love it too. I'm all for people expressing who they are and
Hmm.
being their true selves and showing that to the world. But then you got a stigma as a, you know,
Hmm.
let's go as a mid-30s white male here,
Hmm.
that like if I see somebody expressing themselves now, I might not go out of my way to be like, hey, you're rocking it, or something like that,
Yeah.
because now
Yeah.
there's a stigma of, the j- guys catcalling and shit.
Yeah.
Like I ain't
Hmm.
I ain't trying to catcall. Like my bad. I'm just trying to say, hey, I like your shoes.
Right.
That
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything more than hey, I like your shoes,
That
or hey, I
happened
like
to
your
me
hair.
just the other day. I told somebody that I was really digging their hair, and I feel like they took it a way that I did not mean it. Like it was just cool hair. Like they just had, they changed their look, and I was
I
like,
mean, I
man,
get
that's
told this all the time too, and I never take it any time as like I'm flirting with you,
yeah,
I'm hitting
yeah.
on
It's,
you. So like
well,
if
who
anybody's
cares?
ever done that to me and that was their intent, like, hey man, went over
Step up
my
your
head.
game.
I literally always take that as just a compliment and I'm rocking it. Maybe I
Hmm.
just looked very confident in what I was doing and somebody just noticed that and went out of their way to say, hey, I noticed that. Like fucking
Hmm.
do it, bud. And I think that kind of stuff is cool. I'd love it. And
Yeah,
I'd like, to be able to fucking, I mean, it's just about going. And again,
yeah.
you'll never drop the stigmas until you just face them head on and you're just like, it ain't
And
like
that's
that.
what I'm trying to do for sure. I mean, that's definitely what I'm trying to utilize. Like a lot of what we're getting ready to do this year with the sketch show and everything. Like I said earlier about daring to be weird, and go for the weirder jokes and the weirder skits, like the "you smoking or you choking" skit that we've thrown out, and it's like that's gonna be a weird one. Like it's maybe it hits, maybe it doesn't, but like I want to do it. Like just same with our "are you smoking weed in here?" Like that was something that was like it was one of the weirder ones that was thrown out, and we were like, I don't know if this is gonna work, and I felt weird doing it, felt weird putting it out. I was like, I don't know how people are gonna feel about this, but I want to like dare to be weird. I want to be able to express myself and feel that freedom through that. And I'm kind of trying to use our creative endeavors as practice, I guess, to work my way into that and to have that courage to just kind of be myself and be willing to do these crazier things. And not just in the film, but I know with me and music, that's been a big thing for me because like I'm just you're the musician between the two of us, like like I've been doing the music since 2020 now, but it's kind of all just personal. It's all just for me, really. Like I'll put the stuff out there and I like it, and it's like it's all just garage band beats is all it is at the end of the day for the time being. But it's very expressive for me, like in a way that like other creative endeavors have not been. And I know what kind of music I like, and I know that a lot of the music I like is just out there. It's bizarre, it's weird, but I always think about making things like that, and then I get scared. I get freaked out. I'm like, man, what are people gonna think if I like? Nobody ever hears me sing, or nobody ever hears me rap, or do this, that, the other, and I just all of a sudden just drop stuff that's just like you know me doing all of these things. That alone scares me. Just doing it, not even being weird about it, just singing or something like that. Like that alone scares me.
I think we
Um,
all have those thoughts though.
yeah,
And it's a trip to think like, does somebody like Kanye West have that thought when he's about to put an
yeah,
album out? Does he sit around and be like, man, maybe nobody's gonna like this, maybe everybody's gonna hate it and say it's shit? And I bet he does. I bet 100% that even at the top, you still have those thoughts, have those feelings of nobody's gonna like this. You
Yeah,
know,
and
I thought
that's not
that
to
would,
say I haven't heard Kanye songs and gone, "That's some weird shit,"
yeah.
but I feel like, damn, but he was brave to have done it, like he did it.
Oh yeah. No, and exactly. And I thought that, like, with my Halloween stuff that came out, I thought, oh man, nobody's gonna like this. It's gonna suck. They're gonna be like, I don't really get it. You're are you killing people now? Like what's going on in this stuff?
Yeah.
Because it was, I like Halloween. That's kind of the music that brought me into wanting to make music. Was a horrorcore
Mhm.
genre of music, and that's what really hit me because I was into all that kind of shit growing up. And so it was paying homage, wanting to do more of that because that's what I started doing originally, and then I strayed away from that and fell into doing hippie hop, and now I'd like to go back to doing that. But like, to me, it's just being, I guess, respectful. Like even that, like on that, I'm not trying to step on toes. I'm not trying to, directly hate on anybody. Anybody
Right.
I
Yeah.
kill in my songs are fictional. They're not real people. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I'm not really
Yeah.
doing that. These are fictional songs.
Hey,
Yeah, thank you, Alex. I mean,
it's a
I like it
fan.
too. I love that stuff. And it still does, but it's just I like to tell the stories as well. The storytelling is
Yeah.
what really, because you can do that, and it's like you're saying about being scared and stuff. Like, I put that album out, and it did a lot better than I thought it was going to do. A lot more people listen to it, and then even now, it's like I'm gonna perform, here in like a month, and I really want to make this like a stage type performance. Like I want to do this
Mhm.
more than just me on the stage with a microphone and this and that. Like it's like no, no, no. I kind of want to like be able to have like a bag and have like little spots where I got 40 seconds so I can run off stage and change into this next outfit and jump
Mhm.
back out on stage like something completely different.
Yeah, yeah.
That kind of stuff is kind of scary too, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like cuz it's like what if you put in a month's time worth of work and you go out and do it and nobody gets it. Anybody that's there is just like you could have just done it, you could have just done your set, or something like that. But
Yeah.
it's about black and all that. And for me, it's always just about black. Who
Yeah.
knows?
It's definitely, yeah, you gotta, I mean, this goes for the entire conversation of stigmas, not just the art that we're talking about here, but like just having to block out the rest of the world. You can't listen to other people, otherwise that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to fall into the stigma. You're going to take that stigma to heart, and it's going to prevent you from doing things. That fear is going to win.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can't have
Or it's
that.
just like to me, it's just about like even having those conversations with people, realizing it. Cause like I said, sometimes it goes under the radar, man. Sometimes you don't really realize um where things are rooted
Hmm.
until they get brought to light and you're like, oh damn, like okay,
Hmm.
that's a very valid point. Because there's probably tons of fucking stigmas out there that are like that these days still. I know when I thought coming into this conversation, a lot of it was like, back back in the day we didn't really let, like, all dudes ran everything. They
Hmm.
didn't want women in top, and
Hmm.
then of course their arguments would always probably be something like, they brought on the stigma of, they, they're just genetically weaker, they'll be weaker, they won't run it as well, and this and that. When you
Right.
realize though, and you finally get to have that conversation and realize no, it's like misogyny, that's where it's all rooted down into, and then you can finally
Right.
bring that to light, you can tackle the issue
Hmm.
and the problem. you know to
Yeah.
me, that's where we have to go with all the rest of these stigmas. It's like you might not, like I said, you might not realize you're doing it, and it could
Hmm.
be, like when I lived where I lived growing up, there was, a lot of, it's all white people, so there's a lot of
Hmm.
racism growing up, and you don't realize it because
Yeah.
you're in a town of 2,500 people. You don't fucking leave it.
You're right.
You see it all around. You think it's normal until you move on and you grow and you get out there and you expand and your knowledge and you learn, and all that stuff. You know, it's like, oh, that was all wrong. That was all fucked up. Like nobody
Yeah.
should have been doing that. We need to really change here. Damn,
Yeah.
I'm getting a phone call and everything while we're on.
Blown up. Silence yourself up. But yeah, and
Nobody ever hits me up.
to I see you're before I move on,
Oh wait.
getting some love here.
Oh hell yeah. That's what's up. I had like it. My cursor was over it, so it like graded out when it popped up on the side. Is what I was like, I can't really see it.
But I know, with mental health itself, a lot of mental health stuff. There's stigmas around that as well. Of, you know, I'm to a point now with my own mental health, you know, issues and stuff that I know me. It's my mind, it's my mental. I know what's going on, but there's still that stigma of and sometimes it creeps in. That creeps into the back of my head, like, hey man, are you crazy? Who knows, But like it does make people with mental health problems feel like that sometimes. They sometimes feel like they're this burden, or that they are crazy, or that they're sensitive, or that they're this, or that they're that. And it's all coming from, like you said, there's like a root to that. And I think that the root is a lot of misunderstanding. It's a lot of people who are not, trying to understand where these people are coming from. I was just saying earlier today that there was somebody from my past that had bipolar, and at the time I didn't really know a whole lot about bipolar disorder, and we'd butt heads a lot. And she would do things sometimes that I'm like, why is she doing this? Why is she acting this way? And just getting like so frustrated about it. But now that I have more understanding, it's like our whole friendship could have been entirely different if I had known everything then, and realized like, oh, she's not just doing these things because she wants to do these things. It is like my mom was telling me today that she was talking to somebody about anxiety, and he was like, "I'll just tell you, I don't get it." He goes, "I don't get it." He goes, "I get out of bed in the morning, and if I might not want to go to work or this, that, the other, but I get over it because I have to, So why don't they just get over it?" Well, that's not how it works. And if that's not just the common thing that usually gets brought up, like, "Oh, well, why don't you just get over it?" People get anxious. Everybody has a little bit of anxiety about things. People get a little anxious, a little nervous about things. But then there's like severe anxiety. People get sad, then there's severe depression. Like there are the actual mental health issues that get stigmatized by the people who are like, you're being too sensitive, you're this, you're that, you know, and that's not the case. But they don't know, you know. So it's one of those things where you do have to kind
Right.
of, again, you have to block out other people's things, and you have to know yourself. At the end of the day, that's all that matters, is how you're handling it, how you're processing it, and your day to day with that kind of thing. Like, because it can tear you apart if you let it. If you just want to live that stigma, absolutely, it'll make you feel like you're the craziest son of a bitch in the world. But you don't have to. You don't have to listen to these other people. You can understand that, okay, I have a health issue and I need to take care of it, just like you would anything else, just like a physical health issue. Uh, because it doesn't seem like physical health issues usually have that many stigmas around it, because it's something that you can see very clearly. Like when I talk to people a lot of the time, I'm just a guy who, like, I seem very normal to people, but it's like if you could even see the wheels turning in my head, just the constant chaos in my mind, it's like it takes so much just to have the energy to just be for a day,
No, I get
like
that. Yeah.
but a lot of people don't. A lot of people are just like, "Oh, just get over it."
But
It's like,
like,
shit, man, I wish. I
well,
wish.
and a lot of the things that we've done have contributed to that, because a
Mhm,
lot of, like, when I was thinking this earlier, like I was listening to a song where they were talking about like asylums and stuff
mhm,
like that, and I was like, there is a stigma around mental health, and even people wanting to get help for mental health. Oh, then you're crazy, or you're this, or you're that. But then it's like, well, where does that all come from? And it's like, for the longest time, we've been really cool. Like, we're both into horror movies.
mhm,
Whereas, like, one of the most popular settings to go to in a horror movie is a mental asylum.
right.
Okay, and all the bad people in there, and all the crazies
Mhm,
that are trying to
mhm,
eat you, and all this stuff, and like that. So when you grow up, and that's all you get to see, and that's, the
mhm.
society's painting this place,
Yeah.
on all the TV shows, all the
Mhm,
crazy people are very loony, and they're no, like, we're normal fucking people, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And
Mhm,
it's just, things happen, like, so I'm glad we've taken a lot more steps, like, but it's one of those things that, like I said, like, to me it was more just like seeing that and realizing that. And
mhm.
once you realize that, then you realize, well, what else is painting maybe not in the right light, you know what I'm saying? And then you can
Mhm.
start learning,
Yeah.
growing, knowing.
You're right. Like same thing goes for race issues. A lot of the time, a lot of that is stigmas that have been created. Yeah. Oh, we put pouring in, just
Pouring in, got
pouring
the
in.
comment.
So many people. Let's see here. Yeah, that's. But I mean, it happens.
Oh,
You
I've
know.
lost. I mean, we've all lost it because there's a lot of, to me, there's a lot of relationships too in life that I've lost before I realized I'm being toxic as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And then there's just some people
Mhm.
you get too far away from, you can't get that back or anything like that. So
Yeah. Um. Yeah, and it's one of those things that right there, it's like you got to understand your own mental illness as well, and once you have a better understanding of your own stuff, you can kind of have these conversations a little easier with other people as well, and you can kind of understand theirs. That's why I've tried to do research on things that even I don't have. I don't have bipolar disorder, but I still did research because I want to know about these kinds of things so that in the future when I meet people with bipolar, I know what I'm getting myself into. you know
yeah, no, for real.
Thank you. Thank you. And yes, it's but yeah, people can get you to that point where you start questioning your own sanity sometimes, and it, it it's a weird feeling. I mean, it's definitely,
It's fucked up. It's
like
fucked
I
up.
know what's going on inside of me, but sometimes like people will get me to a point where like I start questioning my own sanity. Like absolutely, I'm just like, am I nuts? Is this all just in my head, or is this really happening to me, sort of thing? But it's like, no, this really does happen to me. This is like my day-to-day life. Like it's just how it is, and you just gotta kind of learn how to live with it. And it's the best you can do.
Yeah, brains are wild, bro.
Mhm.
Brains are wild, wild things when you really think about how they work and how literally everybody's. I just assume everybody's brain works completely different.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I know that we again, something we've talked about on the show is going against the flow. And something I've been trying to do a lot recently is like if I notice that I'm doing something that I've done a lot in my life and I seem to continue to get the same results all the time, I will change it up. And I know like like very simple things too. Like something that recently I started doing is like sometimes I'll be laying in bed. Like I just have a problem with like energy. Like I just feel so lethargic all the time. And so I'll be laying in bed just shit tired, just thinking I'm just gonna pass out, exhausted. But then I can't sleep. I'm tossing, I'm turning, I'm tossing, I'm turning. I'm laying there in bed and I'm telling myself I need to stay in bed and just go to sleep, but I'm clearly not going to sleep. So the thing that I decided to start doing recently is just get up. Just get up and start doing other things, because clearly sitting here trying to fall asleep is not doing me any favors. It's
Right.
making me more anxious. I'm getting more restless. Whereas if I just get up and go do some stuff, work on things, like eventually I'll get pretty tuckered out and go to bed, you know?
Yeah, and that's the way you kind of got to do it. I actually didn't nap yesterday. It's the first day. I don't know how many days that I did not. Uh, I didn't nap at all.
Good for
Not
you.
once. Yeah. I thought about it too. I even laid down in
Mhm.
this comfy, big ass comfy bed behind me here. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna take a nap. And I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna do it. Not today. And I haven't taken one today. And I would probably assume I won't. So that's two days in a row. This is big. We need to have a celebration. We need to have the celebration. I always chalk it up at this time of the year to the lack of vitamin D, though. So just
Yeah, that's true too.
blame it on that, and at least you can be like, all
Mhm.
right,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine then.
Yeah, it's not fun. Yeah, it's not the greatest feeling in the world where I'm just like,
See there, I used to do that too, and then I started thinking, like I said, that's where I've got my own universe in my own head of just stories, and I just pick
right.
one and I just run through it and I change certain parts. Like I'm telling you, once I finally write my first
Mhm.
story out, it's gonna be because like I've changed it so many times and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is the one. I think this is the one that'll change the game.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Is that with the stories? Is that like what you do to help yourself sleep, or is
Yes,
that
yeah,
what
oh
you're
yeah,
saying?
oh yeah. I always pass out before I get to the end.
Yeah,
But it took me the
I
longest
feel you.
time to think my story is ending because like I just like I'd never get to there. I'd always pass out at some point because you're just thinking, like I don't. And again, this shows different how different brains work. Is like
Mm.
I like basically watch my story like a movie in my head, and I'm like, oh wait, no, let's
Yeah,
redo
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I don't know who these faces are. They say you can't make up faces, but I don't know these people. Maybe they're people I saw in passing. I don't care.
Right.
I don't give a fuck. They're heroes in my goddamn head, and they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and
actually, what you're saying right now is actually something that I have thought about these past few days of when I can't sleep like that is anytime I can fall asleep really well is when I just pick something to think about. Just the one thing. Don't let my mind race on a billion things. I just pick something. Like, I do exactly what you do. And whether it be like a story or something like that, but I am making something up in my head and I'm so engrossed in it that I end up just kind of falling into sleep because I'm so focused on that. And
oh
I
yeah.
definitely think that helps quite a bit.
Well, see, the idea kind of to me came because all right. This is gonna sound lame, but whatever. But when I was younger, when I was a teen
Yeah.
Aaron, I would listen to music when I fell asleep, and
Mhm.
I close my eyes and pretend like I was on stage being the person playing the song or whatever. Yeah, in my head, I
Yeah.
thought that was cool as hell, and that to me the same thing. It was like, oh, like in my head, I'm listening to what has been 2002, three something. So it's probably listening to fucking Insane Clown Posse or something fucking stupid. And I was, in my head, I was the one on stage kicking fagos at people's fucking heads and shit like that. And I loved it. And then I just passed right out, you know what I'm saying, and shit. So like
Right.
that kind of came through that because it's like, yeah, like you said, you kind of focus on one thing. To me, it's almost like, like when I'm working on a song or I'm up
Hmm.
doing something else. But like in my head, it's like, nah, I'm working on this story.
Right.
Will I ever pin this motherfucker out? No. But if somebody ever came up to me and was like, hey, Aaron, can you tell me
A
a
story.
story? I got a couple hours to kill. I'd be like, my guy, let me tell you about my superhero universe that I've got up in this phone. Characters on characters.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, it's like 6 stories deep at this moment. I love it.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's
Whatever
definitely
you got
very
to do.
helpful.
Yeah. And when I say whatever you got to do to help, like
Mhm.
that is what worked for me.
Yeah. Um trying to like I knew something I wanted to share next. I just didn't know if it really fit into the stigma conversation. Just something that I have been doing recently that has really helped me out a lot. With because like I said, this is usually when my seasonal depression hits is January, and it definitely was there for sure, and I was definitely feeling it. But I was making a bigger effort to not fall so far into it this year. And I was doing decent, but then when we had our writers' room for the first time last week, like from that day forward, there's just something that just like clicked back on for me. And I was just able to, so now every single day, because I'm one of those people who's like an all or nothing kind of person, and that never does me any good. Where I'm like, oh, I have all this stuff today. Like, I don't know how many times I've just sat here and stared at this computer at a list that I've created of things that need done, and I'm just not doing any of them. I'm just
I
staring
do
at the
that,
list for
bro.
like 3
Yeah.
hours. But I started making smaller lists, smaller daily lists of like, okay, today you're going to write the script for Easter Sunday too. That might be it. That might be the only thing you do today. It's like, because that's one big task. It's like, just making little tiny tasks and I know last week we kind of talked about like the little things like to kind of mood boost, like opening up the curtains, getting some sunlight in, doing the dishes, cleaning up, doing this, doing that, just those little things. I started working out this past week and eating a little better, but I've been taking it in smaller increments, whereas before I would try to do everything all at once, like I'm just trying to, oh, big old workout plan, ooh, big old diet, just like it's like big change all at once, but I'm trying to do the gradual change, and I'm feeling the results for sure. I mean, it's only been like a week of this, but I'm hoping to kind of keep that momentum up with everything we got going on.
No, I vibe with that, bro. It's definitely a very good way to work and look at things in life and just gradually go, because like, if writing was your thing and you wrote a page a day, you'd write in a
Hmm.
year's time a book that was 365 pages long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't look at that at the beginning of the year and go, oh yeah, you see that by the end of the year and you're
Hmm.
like, cool.
Yeah.
Just like as a musician, if you just started writing and that was like your thing, you were like, I'm gonna write, at least write a song a day. I don't care if I ever make it, like record it. I don't care whatever happens to it. I'm just gonna write. Maybe you write an 8 bar verse a day. You know what I'm saying? Even then, in half a year's time, you're gonna have so much shit that you can put this
Hmm.
together with that together with this and make it a complete song. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Or put that here. Or you're writing another song, and you know what I mean. It's,
Hmm.
oh man, such a blessing to be able to go in through your notes and just piece together something on the spot, something brand new. Let me
Definitely.
tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that is, if that's your thing, that is, oh, it's such a
Yeah,
blessing to
it
be able
is.
to
It's
do
nice.
it.
Well, with our 420 stuff coming up and working on some new music and everything, I had a little bit of that myself where I had just been working on music so much last year that I never released, but I just had all this shit laying around, and it's like, well, I want to do something, but I maybe make a song here, make a song there, just kind of, and now, okay, it's about time to release something. I'm like, you know what? All of these songs go real well with this project. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Now I can start pulling some of these things that I haven't used yet, and be like, yeah, I'll apply this to this. And like you said, I've done that myself with the book thing, of just trying to sit down every single day and write something, anything, you know,
Yeah.
because eventually, writing something every day, eventually you're going to get a whole story. You know.
Yeah, at some point you're going to
Mhm.
be to the end, you're going to finish it, you're going to get, like, it's crazy. I think that's, the perception of time and not being able to look ahead is
Mhm.
what's, I mean, because it
Yeah.
does, it goes really fast too.
Well,
Like,
and as well as like the baby steps and seeing, like, in the moment it's always harder to see,
oh yeah.
like the progress, but as opposed to when it's done and you're like, oh man. So that's why, I know I told you this recently, that like I started making the lists of everything I've done, starting in 2020, because 2020 is really when I first really really started dabbling down, like, no, this is what I do, like this is what I want to do. I want to make film, I want to do this, I want to do that. And 2020 was the first year I really gave it my all. So I wrote down a list of things that I accomplished that year, and in 2021, and just the jump from 2020 to 2021. I mean, I was impressed with 2020. I'm like, that's the most I've ever gotten done in, at the time, like 25 years of life, uh of wanting to do this, but now I finally just did all of that, you know. And then the next year we did even more. And then this year, just the hypothetical list that we have right now, if we even do half of the shit we're talking about doing this year, it's going to be a great year, even bigger than last year. And that's all it is. It's just those little tiny baby steps.
Baby steps, baby.
Baby steps, baby. That
they'll
should have
get
been the title of the episode.
they'll get you. Well, yeah, we've went on a couple topics. That's okay. They'll get you there though. Like, they'll
Yeah.
get you where you need to go, past the stigmas, into
Hmm.
the destination. Powerful as fuck, buddy.
Hey, thank you very much.
Yep.
Appreciate that. Yes, it's true. You gotta believe in yourself. Gotta have faith in your plan. Because I've definitely met people before who have the greatest plans but don't have any faith in them, and that gets you nowhere.
It
So
really don't. It
yeah,
really
you
doesn't
definitely
get you nowhere. It
definitely got to
sucks.
believe in it.
You gotta believe. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. If you're not feeling it, just like we've said before, drop it and pick something up.
Hmm. Yeah, and uh, as well, jump back to something you said way earlier about the stigma of basically choosing this career path. You know, It's like a lot of people frown upon that. Like if I told people I was going to be a lawyer, I'd probably have all the support in the world. They'd be like, "Okay, great, cool, that's awesome." That's, you're going to school, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing it all right, great. But no, I'm like, no, I want to make art, I want to make movies and do this, that, the other. And they're like, oh, so all you do is sit around and smoke weed all day and be creative. And it's just like, no, exactly what you just said. It's work, it's a lot of work. And people don't understand that. They just see the end result, because they
Well,
don't do that. Like, I don't look at a house and think, how that house it's just like a lot of work went into building that house, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
to me too, you know, as a parent, I've come to realize you can always, because like my parents always came from a good place when they were like, you don't want to do that. But it's like, if as a teen I'm dead set on doing music, instead of
Hmm.
trying to drive me away from that, why don't you be like, why don't you go get a degree in music theory?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then get a teaching degree and go try to be a music teacher, like
Hmm.
stuff like that,
Oh
instead of
yeah, yeah. Let me
pushing.
take you to an open mic. Let me, do that. Like,
Well,
and I've seen people like that. Maybe not like straight an open mic. You know what I mean? But just like the supportive, like,
and I don't
let's
even
give it a
mean like
go.
my musical endeavors. I just mean
Hmm.
like in general, like why steer a person away from something that interests them just because you're like, nah, that's not a good fit.
Definitely.
When you could just point them in a way to make money through doing that,
Hmm.
and still being able to do that on the side. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Because like
Yeah.
if I would have went to college for music theory, I'd be making some baller beats. So
Just saying. Just saying.
just saying,
You
man.
know.
No big deal.
You know. Thank you.
Yeah, most
And
definitely.
yes. And we absolutely will. And we can't wait to see what you guys have next as well.
It's very
And
true.
that's you two, if you're watching, Dave and Gala, I mean, you two are in a way like a milestone for us. Like this time last year we were talking about uh being able to expand ourselves, I guess, like be able to expand the Chase and Shep team. And by the end of last year we definitely expanded. And definitely, one of the most exciting expansions of that is this partnership with Camp Nostalgic. And I'm so excited to work with them. I think it's opening up a whole new door, for both of our studios. So I think we got some cool shit on the way.
Yeah, and just to be able to move the word, because even then, like people I've talked to about it, they might not necessarily know who they are, but
Mm.
maybe that goes and gets them to check it out because it's like, yeah, no, like we mess with them, they're good people, we do our thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what, going back to that artist from earlier. Her name's Mia Gladstone, is her name. And just the expression from this girl is just so just intoxicating. And she has like a little zine on her website, and I was like flipping through it, I was reading it, and she has this whole section of like people who inspire me and like music that inspires me and stuff. And I think they're just like all her homies for the most part, people that she knows. And watching her music videos and stuff, and just seeing that she has just this clique of creative people, just like she has this community of creative people that's helping them. We're all supporting each other. We're all lifting each other up and going for the same goal, and it's great. And that's definitely what I'm seeking as well. I've always been looking for that. I've always been looking for the team, for the base, and I feel like we're finally getting to that point, and it's very exciting. So glad to know you.
Kind, always kind.
Too kind. Stop it.
Stop,
Stop it.
stop
We can be
it.
real assholes sometimes.
Sometimes, I mean, catch me when I'm hangry. I'm
Yeah.
not.
Right.
I'll at least say I'm sorry in the
Sorry.
process. Be like, oh, I'm sorry about that, but
Yeah.
I did because I hit a lady with a line today that I was like, maybe I was a little
Right.
rude about that. But what can you do? Like, I don't know. I got caught off guard. Like, I got a call while I was at work today, and this lady was like, "You got some TNT fireworks boxes for me to pick up?" And I was like, "Excuse me, what? Do you say what?" And she was like, "Some fireworks boxes." And I was like, "My dude, fireworks are illegal in Illinois." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "And who are you, by the way?" And I gave her my name, and she's like, "Okay," and then hung up. And I was like, "All right then." It's like, hopefully
Weird.
she just put us down as a no. because
No
obviously we didn't have
fireworks.
any fireworks boxes, but I was like, because I was just confused because I was like, smokers? I wouldn't really label those as fireworks. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
that's all we have in the state of Illinois, smoke bombs and shit like that. That's not really fireworks.
I don't
I
know.
just was caught off guard, so I don't know. It wasn't
Yeah.
intentional rude. It was more like you didn't find that funny. Like, I thought it was kind of funny. I'm
Yeah.
like, we ain't got fireworks in Illinois, my dude. Sorry,
You know,
it's
it
illegal.
happens. You
It's
know.
illegal over here.
Well, you want to. Well, I was going to say a stigma that's kind of reversed itself over the years. I remember back in the day of like totally getting shit for being on my phone all the time, or like just for having social media. You know, like some people will be like, "Oh, you're on Facebook." Like what? You know, that itself was like a stigma that like you were on that stuff all the time. But now it's the reverse, and I find myself getting more shit for not being on social media, then back in the day it used to be, oh, you're on social media, like what a weirdo, it's just like, but now it's like you're off of social media, what a weirdo. Like it's just crazy how the times change, and the stigmas flip and everything. Like it used to, look at nerds, you know look at how that stigma flipped. And it's like now it's like cool to be a nerd, but it's like not so cool to be like a tough jock guy, like, you know what I mean, like, and it's just like things flip a lot of the time, and that's why you gotta just block that shit out
I'm glad I'm
sometimes.
not a teen right now. I feel sorry
Yeah,
for my son.
that's for
Pick
sure.
one and go, bro.
That's
That's
for
it. That's what
damn
I tell
sure.
him all the time. Just be who you want. Change it up. Fuck it. Who
Hmm.
gives a shit?
Yeah, and that's a big one. Big old stigma on change, on changing yourself, because you're allowed to. You're
Mm.
absolutely allowed to. You can flip that switch. You can be a whole new person tomorrow if you want to. Uh, I know that's something that
There's
I
no age
do.
limit.
There is no age limit. No, you can be, 80 years old, have a foot in the grave, and decide, you know what? I'm gonna change it all right now. I'm gonna be an entirely different person tomorrow. And you
Oh yeah.
can. You absolutely can. People try to act like you can be too old, but no.
No, I used to, like I said, when I cut my hair, short hair, and it's gonna have a different personality for sure.
Of
Maybe
course,
I'll be
of course, you're cool now.
maybe I'll be funnier.
Internal damage is cool too. So that's the thing these days too.
There's a lot of things that people glorify these days. That's like, I mean,
Confused, not damaged. Noted.
noted, noted. It's been noted in the stream. Confused,
Yeah.
not it. But yeah, no, like I don't know. I don't know, man.
Yeah. But people are afraid, and I totally get that. Like people, I've heard a lot of people say that they feel like they can't change because they feel like they're being fake or something. And it's like, well, are you? Are you being fake, or are you being true to yourself?
Well,
That's.
yeah, well, and then yeah, that's where that goes. It's well, why you're changing. Are you changing for
Hmm.
reasons you want to change for? Or are you changing reasons for external, like other
Hmm.
people want you to change, or because that does play a big part into it. Yeah, if you're changing for other people, it's never gonna work good.
Yeah.
You're gonna change so many times you forget who you were.
Yeah.
And I only can say that because I've been there and I've done that, and I know that process and that coming back from it, and exactly like you were saying, Chase, I've had that moment of fucking sitting there and having that thought to myself and being like, I don't like this. I don't like this character I'm being right
Hmm.
now. Like I
Yeah.
don't like this. And I'm
Yeah.
not fuck that. I'm not doing that no more. I'm gonna do this instead. And I became the man that I've grown into today,
Yeah.
the illest, the realest, Johnny
You
Cash.
know, Johnny Cash.
But no, for real, like honestly, like a lot when like I said, when I was young, I realized what does it fucking matter? All
Hmm.
those people that laughed at me when I painted my face and I went on
Hmm.
stage and stuff, and they thought it was funny and they laughed. Like I don't fucking talk to them now. Like so, the laughs obviously stopped at some point, and I'm still here. I'm still rolling. I'm still doing my fucking thing.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
did it matter?
Hmm.
No. At the time, it kind of broke my heart a little bit, but
Right. Yeah. You're gonna have that though. That
yeah.
happens.
Yeah, but that's the thing, man, is the older you get, the more experience you get behind
Yeah.
it, then you're like, ah,
Well, I know
fuck.
like one way that I like express myself physically, like with my look, is like with the clothes that I wear. And I know, you get hit all the time with like you're a grown ass man wearing baby Yoda shirts and superhero shirts and all this other stuff. And it's like, yo, I love this shit. Like I adore this shit. This is my
Listen,
favorite stuff. And this is what I want to wear. This is what I want to put on my body and show the world.
I'll buy
That's my
other shit
expression.
if it's cool. That's my thing. It's like
Yeah.
I can't help it if they don't got good shit.
Yeah.
Like this right here. This is adult as fuck. Just a plain gray sweatshirt. Is that too
Exactly.
much to ask for? But I got one, so I don't need to go buy more. So don't put more
Right.
out in stores. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need, I don't need no more. So get a different one. Get
Yeah.
this style, but get it like gray,
Okay.
like light gray. You know, maybe I'll be like, oh well, I got dark gray. I need light gray.
Right.
But no, like for real, like that's kind of just how my wardrobe has been. Like, I don't know. And there is stigmas around that,
Mhm.
even I got told once by a chick that I had too many colorful clothes. I was like, excuse me, like what? Like, okay, A, I got a lot of black clothes.
Yeah.
B, like, what's wrong with fucking wearing colorful clothes and shit? Like, I can't wear fucking hot pink.
But it's there's a good one. That's a good stigma, but that one got broken over the years, of men wearing pink. I think it's still like some people are
It's
still like, why are
still
you doing that? But I
And
don't
it
I
sucks
don't think
because
it's as
I smile because it's like, no, like, I don't, it's the stigma is
it's
still
silly.
there. Yeah.
It's
Because,
silly though.
oh,
It's
yeah,
like we said
it
earlier. It
is.
has
It
nothing
is.
to do with
I could care less.
yeah,
Okay. So, like, if
you
I'm
know.
out, wearing coral and somebody gives me shit for wearing coral, I will be like, I'm rocking the
Hey
coral,
man.
my guy.
Yeah,
Like,
it is what it is. It's what I wanted to
but
wear.
that
Yeah.
is the quickest way to make an insecure guy very upset very fast is to be like, out in the coral shorts today, are we? Oh, I've done it, and I've done it. I've been that guy
Yeah.
that did it. And I think I actually did it as a compliment to somebody, and they took it the wrong way. And I was like, whatever, I'm gonna roll with it now. And then I just started making fun of them for wearing them. I was like, you fucking Patrick, SpongeBob.
How the tables have turned.
It's like we started this nice. Now we're getting
Yeah.
mean. Now we're battle rapping it. But yeah, no, like it's funny, the to me the funniest because I just buy what I want to buy, and like ever since that comment, like I've realized that like now I've gotten nothing but very dark clothing since then.
Mhm. That'll do that, man.
But it's not, no, it's not at all because of that comment that was made. Although that's kind of that's silly.
Sometimes all it takes is exactly.
Oh, I don't have shit on me right now.
We could go on for days with the list. Being adults that watch cartoons. For whatever reason a stigma. It's like I was just telling somebody last night. Like at the end of the day, it's like why can't people just do what they want to do? Like at the end of the day, I think we can all mutually agree on the things that are like, yeah, we shouldn't be doing these things. Like let's not fuck kids. Like that's bad. Like we can all agree on that. And the people who disagree are the ones get them. Those are the ones we need to cuff. Get them.
Yeah.
But fucking,
No
like,
sane person should have any sort of counter argument. Like, but wait,
but no,
that's
no
the people
buts.
were like,
You
that
know,
one, he can go,
there
he
he
can go,
is. That one can go. That one can go.
her, she can
Yeah,
go.
but
Like I'm saying, but like the rest of them, no, like I've said,
otherwise, live your life, man. Watch cartoons. Wear Baby Yoda on your T-shirt. Wear colorful clothes. Do whatever, man.
wear
Like,
baby clothes if you want, behind closed doors, though, please.
yeah,
But I mean, hey,
some things behind closed doors.
if
Live your
that's your
life.
niche,
Don't need to know.
if that's your genre, hey, do it proud. But like,
Yeah.
ain't my thing. But it ain't my place to hate. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? At the same time, nah, I mean, like, oh, bro, same. I always get that, and it's worse for me because I'm in my mid-30s now. So you
Yeah.
got a mid-30s guy rocking like fucking some of these clothes. I just don't give a shit. It's like, you know
Yeah.
what, man? I don't fucking care. I think that's dumb that at certain
Mhm.
age you gotta dress in stupid ass button up things and fucking plain ass this and that.
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't know. I can at least say that when
If
the
we're gonna
time
make that,
comes, when the Reaper comes to grab me, at least I can say I was having a good old time here
if
on
we're
Earth.
gonna make that argument, I'd counter argument it with we all need to be like a cartoon and wear the same fucking outfit then. Just
Bet.
have one. We all get one. When we become 18, we get to pick one fucking outfit, and that's the outfit we're stuck in.
You
For the
get a
rest of our
summertime
life.
outfit, you get a winter outfit.
Yep, and you get some if you grow big, or anything like that, or you
You know.
change, you get renditions. We get upgrade as the seasons progress.
Mhm.
But it's the same fucking thing. You can't
Yeah.
get that color scheme. You can't get away from that color scheme. So you better pick smart. You better pick well. I
Better
feel
be your
like
favorite damn
I'd be
colors.
cool with that. I'd be cool with that. I'd be 100% fine with that. Like if that was life, I'd be like, all right, cool, bet. My shit would be wild, and I'd be able to rock it for the rest of my life. I'd like to see how it looked when I was 80. Maybe I'd
Hell
live
yeah.
that long. Maybe then I'd live that long.
Hell yeah. I think it's about that time.
It's about that time. We've covered a lot. There's a lot of stigmas out there, a lot we didn't even touch on, and
yeah.
we didn't even talk about like very many personal stigmas or anything like that. So maybe that's a future show, and we'll get more thought into it and put it out there because there's tons of them, man. Maybe try to find some in your own life and look at them. Telling you to dress like an adult are the same people that wore those clothes as children. That is true too. Yeah, some people's parents did dress them, in my opinion, a little too soon. They're like,
But
oh, look at those little adults. They're so cute. And it's like
I gotcha.
maybe it's cute to you, but yeah.
Yeah.
Then
I
people
mean, don't
probably
get me wrong. Like, I know most people don't like the monkey suits and everything, but like, I know, like, during my sister's wedding, like, I was hyped to get dressed up in a suit and everything. Like,
well, they are, yeah,
you
and
know,
that's what I'm saying.
but like, my dad hates it. Like, my dad has no desire to do some shit like that.
There's certain occasions, and I think there's certain occasions that it's cool. It's cool
Yeah.
to do. I have some nice clothes that I keep. You know what I'm saying?
I've done it before just because, like shit. I just feel like looking nice, so I'll throw on some nice duds, rock it
It's
out.
so cool, and I like doing that. I did that with my ex. I just told her one night, I was like, "Let's dress fancy and let's go get something to
Yeah,
eat. Let's go to fucking Applebee's, all fucking wearing
yeah.
tie, just fucking black dress and shit. Let's go up in there looking fancy." And they're like, "What are you doing?" Say,
It's lit in this neighborhood.
"Yeah, man, start
We'll have
singing
the 2 for 20. Thank you.
the Cheers song that they're playing now." It's like, what's my name? What's my fucking name? Say it.
Oh,
They
man.
get one chance. Get it right, or pay the price. And that price is only $20. Eating good in the
Eating
neighborhood.
good in the neighborhood.
And that is Mental Health Monday for Chase and Shep. We got all of our sponsors out of the way. A big thank you to Applebee's.
Thanks, Applebee's.
2 for 20. I loved it.
Oh yeah, it's good. Now I feel like I gotta walk to Applebee's after this.
We got some nice chicken poppers over there. Please,
Yeah,
Applebee's, holler at
we
us.
definitely didn't touch on a lot of stuff. I know after last week's show too, feels like I don't even think I even scratched the surface of the things I could have talked about.
No, but like it is what it is. We'll get back. They just future.
Yeah, that sounds. I've heard of that. That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'd fuck somebody up with that though. Like I don't know how they'd have to let me know in advance if this is going to be like a serious thing or like this is fun. Because like I could pick serious outfits out for people, or I could just like pick some haggard ass clothes out.
Just some silly shit.
Yeah, depending on the goodwill, just be like, this is it. This is what you rolling with. And the same because the Goodwill I went into didn't have a very many men's clothing that I could see. So very limited in the choices. But yes, no, yeah, I think so. I think it gives us a chance to fucking go about it at a later time and date on these episodes. I think with February coming up, we were saying we're gonna do more relationship geared towards episodes. So get ready to talk about some shit with us.
All the exes can just leave right now.
Get on out of here, girl.
Get on
you
out
don't
of
want to hear what I got. No, I got nothing but
No,
positive things to say about
love.
people from my past.
Yeah.
Y'all are blessings.
Nothing but love and lessons coming in February. That's all. That's all.
Yeah. We're going to talk about dealing with mental health issues while being in relationships or becoming in relationships or leaving relationships. Probably all of it. So
maybe that's how we'll handle it. Maybe
exactly
through the month we'll just move through the relationship with all of you.
The beginning stages. We'll see you next week for him.
See you next week.
Try not to check your phone too many times between now and then. That might be the lesson. Smooches and
Peace.
deuces.